And here we are with another episode of Dialogues with Interesting People. And I'm very happy to host Julie Shining, also said Julia Shining, because she's an expat Italian. We can also say those kind of Europeans that go living in different countries in Europe as if it was their country. And now she will say something about her life, her background, her passions, what she loves in life, etc. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Lucia. Good morning to everyone.
Morning.
I'm.
It's morning. Cup of coffee.
It is morning, although the lights doesn't really reveal that it's morning because we are in Belgium. That is usually a grey country, especially during the winter time. But being living here for 10 years, I got used to it. So I can still recognize a morning from
Oh,
an afternoon.
you can get used to.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I will also eventually.
It's a long process.
Also, I have to stay a long time.
Anyway, yeah, as I just said, I've been living here in Belgium for 10 years now. I had other opportunities to live in other countries in Europe and outside of Europe for working and studying purposes. But now, during these 10 years, I've been working for in the sector of European NGOs. I'm currently a director of a European network that deals with vocational training and education. But yeah, I have a background in international relations and diplomacy, but I have a big passion with it, which is music. Music is a passion that I try to fulfill in different ways. And this is the reason why I decided to start taking singing classes. But I also started last year being a radio speaker in a web radio for Italians abroad. I had to stop in the last period because of work. I have an extreme workload at the moment, so I had to stop a bit. But the intention is to come back with my own radio program on the topic of concerts in Belgium. I'm a very big passionate of going to concerts. It's not only because of music, but it's for the experience, the whole experience of going to a concert, going to the venue, staying in the venue, meeting people that like the same kind of music, enjoy the music, and then the after, trying to catch up with the artists because it's something that I also try to do. Yeah, that's it.
So it looks like the Belgian, how can I say, musical ground is pretty rich.
Yeah, I can confirm.
It's not so much known outside of Belgium, I think. I think some are really renowned as Salassieu, as Trome, etc. But it has a richness in itself that fulfills a lot of needs, I think, and it's quite peculiar also. Because sometimes we can think that they can be close to Netherlands or German or North countries vibe. No, it's completely different vibe.
Yeah, indeed.
It's a very small country. What do you think about?
Well, Belgium has the greatest advantage of being the one of the central countries in Europe. And not only that, the other advantage is that Brussels is a very multicultural city. So it collects a lot of different kind of styles and contamination. And this is very important for music. It enriches a lot music and arts in general. So yeah, it's exactly as you said. There is a very great vibe here. Though, of course, Belgium is also a country in itself. So, and it's a peculiar country because it's divided into different regions, and you can also recognize the different styles according to the different regions, the different kind of contaminations, influences. It's very interesting from this point of view.
Tell us a bit about your perception or knowledge about those two regions for the public. It has a Flemish part in the north that is more an ancient kind of Netherlands language, but it's on its own, it's Flemish. And then it comes till really around Brussels, because we have the garden, the botanical garden that is in the region of Brussels that is yet Flemish. And then in the south, we have the French-spoken part, but also there is a great Italian community since 1 century. It was classically more close to France, but it has become on its own because for the mines we had a lot of migration from Italy that now has become second, third generation often. And it is a community that has some weight into probably also into the creative process. From my point of view, I see that the French part is stronger into the theater research than into music, probably because theater is more social in some sort and is more a dialogue of integration and development into art of human being lives, while music needs perhaps a little more time. In the French part, there is still a tradition of music, because if you remember Jacques Brel, he was Flemish, but he sang a lot in French too, and is Belgian in a larger term. And we have many musicians that do traditional French singing into this region, but it's not the future, probably it's not the vibe that you know. So
no.
Tell us what you think about.
Well, for the type of music that I listen to, which is mainly rock, pop, I think that Flanders and Flemish artists are some way more advanced in the sense that they are more innovative. And they sell much more also abroad, in the sense that they organize tours abroad. They are more known. I'm referring to bands like Balthazars or Dius. They go on tour in different European countries. If I have to think about musicians coming from Wallonia, they are less famous abroad. But still, it's very interesting because, for example, I've heard recently about a band from Charleroi, the Ada Oda. They are all Belgians, but they sing in Italian due to this fact that they have origins, as you were saying, third generation Italians living in Belgium. And I was quite amazed about hearing about this band, because it's not. It's kind of unusual that a band from a specific country, made up of artists born in the country, decide to sing in a language that it's not their own language, but it's a language of their of their ancestors. Yeah. By the way, coming back to what we were saying, the Wallonian context, I think it's much more influenced by the French music due to this proximity with proximity. I mean, they speak the same language, so due to the language issue, they are much more influenced by France. Not only music, it's more general also in arts, I think. While the Flemish part, though Flemish is a language that is super close to Dutch, they still manage to have their own identity and not getting influenced by the Netherlands. Indeed, if I have to think about music, and I think I have rather a decent knowledge of rock bands in Europe at the moment, as I said, I can list several Belgian bands from Flanders, but very few from the Netherlands, which means that Belgians from Flanders are much more known and recognized in the musical environment in Europe.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this summer, when I went to just have a look and get into the Belgian vibe after the COVID, so it was open and I could get been curious about. I went to a musical festival for some days, and I was very impressed by the Belgian vibe from Flanders, because I felt that not only they have another kind of independent research. They dignify just by the fact that they think that there is something there. So they stay researching there, but especially they are very, how can I say, not original, but they ask themselves to have a very strong form and very refined way to propose things, even if they get wrong.
Yeah.
And this for music, it's a great pointer, because you can simply grow from where you are, and you are confident that it will grow if you expose, but you take care to really be in some sort in the phrase, in the musical form. It was something I was listening for some young Måneskin, because in Italy we have, but they are not as Led Zeppelin, as if they had to be 20 years old. Come on, Sim. I mean, it's ridiculous. But just because you've seen someone arriving at a certain point, you want that the others start from this point of arrival.
Yeah, there is so much pressure on especially on the new generations. If they're not performing top, it feels almost that they are not allowed to make their music and to make their art.
Yeah, but this is something of, I think, generation, and my generation is into too, that they've become some fanatics of mythological musicians, as if they were the point of arrival absolute that no one will ever succeed into. And to me, it's an amateurish, way of looking at things, because simply the process is the same. You never know where you will arrive. You never know how you will develop. You do yours, and you will get. Usually, if you do yours in a certain way, you get pretty well, and the others in the time will tell you where you have arrived. You know the seriousness and the consistency of the process, and if behind there is something, because when you're a professional like me, you feel that. You feel that before, but you don't see where they're going to arrive. And also, you don't have to determine it, because otherwise you are making appropriation of the past. Yeah, we see the features of the past, but it's the past. And when they were doing the process, they didn't know what they are going to get in the formal thing. From Måneskin, what was impressive to me is that, as some young bands I've had into my class, the capacity to really get there and be, how can I say, clean, precise into the form of what they were doing. Not only putting, and then from the anarchy somewhere something will come. And I have the impression that the Wallonian part has the great power of feeling that from the anarchy something raw will come out, but sometimes they lose themselves into this anarchy. Just an impression. It's not a critique, because it is a strong point also, because it's true. You have to get into anarchy, but to me it must be a sort of dialogue.
Yeah.
You put form into your anarchy, and then you put anarchy into your form, and you grow by this. And when you really make this dialogue and these cycles, it's difficult that you don't get to something really, really good. But it's just an impression. I'm not sure. And we go with the usual questions. And I wanted to ask you something else. Do you have other passions into your life besides music?
I'm quite a social person, so one of my passions is spending time with my friends. So I'm also quite selective in the sense that I don't have many friends, but I try to have very good ones. I like cooking. I'm an Italian, so but not cooking everything. I'm much more into patisserie because I think that the art of desserts and patisserie is the most complete one. It gathers different kind of knowledges. It's not only about making something, it's chemistry, it's biology, it's mathematics, and then it's also art. So it's perfect science. And for me, it's the language of love. So usually when I make a cake, when I bake something, when I make a dessert, I do it because I want to express my love for someone, my appreciation for a specific situation. For me, it's a sort of language. So that's why I have this passion too. And then I must say that I don't have much time for cultivating my passion, but I also really like going to the cinema and watching movies that very different kind of genres actually, because I can go from action movies or those movies that don't really make you thinking about anything. But I'm also very passionate about movies that have meaning and symbolism inside. I just recently watched a very interesting movie. It's called I'm Thinking of Ending Things. And it's about the topic of suicide, but it is explored in a very symbolic way. So it was very interesting. By the way, yeah, these are my passions. I used to be a knitter, but not anymore. I dropped that passion because I think I'm not good in that.
You're not due to someone else. You cook for them, they knit for you.
Yeah, my mom is very good, so
oh, fantastic.
We have to compromise.
Yeah, absolutely. What is it to be an interpreter? Even if amateur, because you are very, very serious about and you're absolutely on the professional way of doing it. Yeah, absolutely. No, don't worry. You don't have to comment that. This is something we say about you. You don't have to.
No. I'm not going to comment this. I take it for granted.
What it to be an interpreter into this epoch, so plenty of music? That is the first time since the last 50 years. We can say hundreds of years, but mostly 50 years that we have music everywhere. We have access to archives that we had not access previously, and we have a huge quantity of music created all the time. What it feels, or what it is, or what?
To reply to this question, I have to think a little bit about the past. In the past, music was most of the time, I would say, in my view, of course, it was a way to express the feelings of societies. It was also a way to educate people, to educate the society. If I have to think about music today and also about the society in general, we are overwhelmed by the use of social media. So we have a lot of content. There is a lot of communication. I think that music today is something much more private, that is used to express inner feelings of interpreters. So I see the way I try to interpret when I sing. It's my own way to express my emotions and my feelings, also my opinions about what happens around me. So I think that music has acquired a much more private and intimate character.
How are you searching for your voice? And when I say voice, I don't mean just the technical voice for singing. I mean your internal individual voice, your place into, how can I say, this musical epoch, etc.
Yeah, well, I try to get close to the artists I like, in the sense to get close in a figurative way, of course. When I can do it also, practically speaking, that then it's even better. But I try to get close to them, to the way they feel, to the kind of experiences they have in life. I try to understand a little bit what they experience and what they feel, in order to compare if my feelings are the same, and then I try to give to my feeling my own voice. It's rather a difficult question to reply, because I mean, searching for my inner voice, it's very private and intimate, but yeah, I try to do it by relating with the artists I like.
Are collaborations important?
Oh my God, they are super important, because I think that collaborations help in not only in not comparing, but relating in with feelings, as I was explaining before. But they're also good because they can enrich your style, they can enrich your voice. It's about contamination, as I was saying at the beginning of this interview. Contaminations are important because they enrich the product, and they give the product much more power. So I think that through collaborations, collaborations is the best way to provide a performance that has a very meaningful aspect.
What is it, art, to you?
Art is expression, first of all. It's a way to express feelings and emotions. Art is beauty, and if we won't have beauty in this world, I think we will just die the day after, because beauty is what will save us. As someone, I don't recall the name of who said this, but I strongly believe that yeah, beauty will save us, and will art saves us already. There wouldn't be a social dimension, there wouldn't be an individual dimension without art. We would just be a robot doing things, basic things, in order to survive. But without art, we won't be much more than that. So art is something very important to me. Every kind of art, but music especially, because I have a great passion for music, although I don't play any instrument, and I'm so jealous about that, because I really would like to do it, but I feel incapable to do it.
Well, you play your voice. It's an instrument.
Yeah.
Do you look for what when looking for art? You have partially answered, but
Yeah, well, I look for myself. It's a way to look for myself when I get lost, and it happens. Music is that anchor I grab in order to find myself again, and going on the surface.
I know that you sing mostly rock, but you have a little second soul with some other repertoire.
Yeah.
How do you, this other repertoire, in what place is into your artistic creative process? Is it on the side? Is it a second skin? Is it a different layer of you, or what?
I wouldn't say a second skin, because that is very, very intimate, but it's definitely a second layer. I think I am quite a multifaceted person, in the sense that I have different, I'm not just this way I am, but I'm also sometimes a little bit obscure, a little bit dark. So that other kind of repertoire that I like reflects this different part of me that also feels the need to express. So it's true that other repertoire that I bring out this other part of me, and I express my feelings and emotions. So I don't disregard the fact that I like also different kind of music. It's this is the way I am.
What is it to start presenting some of your singing, some also of your individual creative into the Belgian vibe of music?
I never thought about that. Well, that's not really true.
No, Brussels is quite different from strictly Belgian.
Yeah.
Or European. It's more a big town with all the different level from superficial to very deep of everything. So it is freer in some sorts than.
Yeah, and there are a lot of opportunities in Brussels, actually, many more than anywhere else. But yeah, when I used to have my band, because I tried to build the band and then it didn't work much, we were considering about performing. We were already having a look where to do that. I'm open to perform, and for me, it will be a way to overcome my how can I say? Not. I'm not a shy person, so it's not a matter of being shy. It's more a matter of control freakness, I would say, in the sense that I'm quite a perfectionist, so I feel like I'm not gonna go there until I'm on a certain level. So probably if I overcome this kind of fear I have, I would be much more open to performing. So it might be a good way to help me in going in moving from this kind of fear I have.
This kind of fear is something that we all have, and it goes away simply
by doing.
You do with the fear.
Yeah.
And discover that you had no reason to be perfectionist. You have reason to aspire and get to want to do good, but not perfection. Because it's unattainable, and especially it has no sense.
Yeah, it's probably, as we were saying before, we as Italians, because we're both Italians, so you might find it, I mean, real, as we said. As Italians, we have this tendency of not considering ourselves ready for a certain level until we are perfect.
In this case, I don't know why. I've never thought in that way. Meaning that I wasn't someone so much confident to say, okay, I'm excellent, I go. I just loved music. And they asked me. I didn't hide. And they asked me all the time because I loved music so much and I was so much into the process of getting toward music. And I always said, no, what you're saying has no sense because the music doesn't want that from me. It doesn't guide me there. And they asked me, and I just not say no. I didn't say no. And the fear was so much sometimes that I couldn't make my makeup because making my makeup and dress up would have been the sign that I was going on stage. And to me, it was no, I can't tell my system because I will panic and I will run away. And it was, okay, you run away. Okay, they will find you in New Zealand eventually in 20 years. And then I inside me, it was a pilot for which I went on stage. And then on stage, it was certainly no voice will come out. And as I saw myself singing, and one of the times was one of the first things I did, I saw my hand and my arm start doing this. Off. You know, I was without makeup, not dressed up. I had a dress, but it was not I had my usual shoes, you know, you don't do that on stage. And more than that, I saw my hand doing that. And to me, it has been, are they here to look at you or to listening to you? And I said, or I stop the hand, or I go on singing. And I went on singing. And what really amazed me, it was that from this concert, I started having the first fun. Meaning people coming at every concert, filming me, trying to reach me, trying to give me flowers, trying to come into conservatory because I was only a student, to know where I was studying, etc. And to me it was so they couldn't look at me, but at the same time something else also was getting out.
Yeah.
If you just love the music and you took a strategy not to run away, even if it is my strategy, it was really, I wasn't nice to see. And you know, 3 concerts after, since I came from a theater school and I knew perfectly how to dress up, etc., I was again, good makeup, appropriate, not too much appropriate. My scenic presence, that was perfect, because I just had to decide what in hierarchy was important. And to accept that I had no idea, but inside me it was, okay, we will see, I will run out. So I tell myself I have the right to run out. I simply don't, as I could be 3, 4 person at the same time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, since it was sincere, as it is for you, it solves itself.
Yeah. Well, in my case, it's also partly linked to some trauma I had when I was younger, because as I said, music has always been my passion. So this is not the first time that I attempt to perform or to take singing classes. And when I did, when I was young, I was, I wouldn't say bullied, but somehow. So I probably still keep that feeling with me, that is kind of stopping me, preventing me to overcome. But
and so this time will be the time in which still, because at the end of this interview, you don't know, not today, not directly now, but we will have her singing. So you can judge if this baggage is just an old feeling of something that perhaps in the occasion, perhaps it was something, a feedback that perhaps in some little sort you deserved, but you don't deserve anymore. For me, she doesn't deserve anymore. So no, so brilliant. You have to listen to her and to enjoy her.
Thank you. I'm actually looking forward to that. So
I she's very hungry to do it, and it's a good sign. Last question. A positive and a negative of the musical vibe of Brussels or of Belgium or of Rome or of Italy or whenever you have lived. You choose how you say.
Let's say of Brussels, because it's the one that I know better at the moment. It would be funny, but I think that what is the positive vibe of music in Brussels is also its negative part.
Oh, it happens all the time. That's
As I said already during this interview, Brussels is a great environment for music, thanks to all these contaminations that we have. There are people coming from all over the world with their own music, their own culture, their own traditions. And this is good because it helps the contamination happening. So the musical vibe is very rich. And I must say that Brussels has also a lot of opportunities to play music. There are beautiful venues for concerts. And there are very good programs for concerts. I usually go to Botanique, that is in the botanical garden. They have a very interesting program. I was there some days ago for a concert opened by a Flemish songwriter. But then
seen it on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, really good. Really good one.
He was very cute, the guy.
We will put some names at the end. After you will tell me some names of bands and musicians that people have to listen, and we will put them into the description.
So I will be very happy to do so. And then the guy was opening for a more known songwriter, I would say bluesman from the UK, Duke Garwood. It was very interesting. I'm going again for other concerts. I'm gonna listen to Michel Gurevich from Canada. There will be also some festivals on European music.
No, we are going to write that.
Yeah.
For now, why it is the better?
Because at the same time, if I have to speak about Brussels, there is no identity. There is no a Brussels musical identity because of all this my God, I lost the word. But anyway, I rather prefer the positive aspect of this, because being an expert, having lived in different countries, having had the opportunity to experience different kind of music, I'm open to this collaboration and contaminations. But I can understand that Brussels, and it's not only about music, it's about everything here in Brussels. It's a place that doesn't have its own identity, and probably we should approach this in the sense that the identity of Brussels is a sum of different identities, and that is what makes Brussels so attractive and so important, even in the musical environment.
And that's why the singer Post Malone went away from Los Angeles. He said he couldn't focus because there were too many things all the time. And to create and to get to something, to some sort of focus, we have to get stuck. Yeah. Or stuck ourselves, or we go away from where we are unstuck all the time.
Yeah, that is actually very interesting. There are artists that are making this kind of choice. For example, I think about an artist that I like. Asaf Avidan is an Israeli songwriter. He moved to a very remote village in Italy, bought a farm, and wrote his last album there. But then there are artists, like I think about the rock bands in the 70s or 80s, they were moving to big cities like London, Los Angeles, because they felt the need to be in the mass in order to be creative.
But they were not the cities of now.
Probably, yeah, that's the difference.
I mean, you get to a city to obtain something, this will change the city, then you get back to obtain the same from the city, but from another point of view. And then, because when you do this, you are changing the city. And when you have changed the city, it's not anymore the environment for which you went there. So to have the things that in the city in that moment lack, you go somewhere else. And also with the net and with the web, we can have access to what the cities gave you from some other places. And also it depends probably on the phases. You just get creative, you get to some part, and then you get searching for another thing in another phase.
And probably is also connected to what I was saying before about music that has changed, that before was more the expression of society, political views, especially rock music, I think. Now, maybe more private and intimate. And that's...
Please, I would not agree too much, but it's not important, my point of view now. It's not, no, it's your point of view here.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Meaning that on that, I don't see that in that way. I see that it was a surface, superficial thing that they were saying. But the center was that we were getting individual. Before we were getting to a function. You are the composer. You are the singer. So we were judged and had a place by this function. And eventually, the greatest one did put something of themselves into. Mm-hmm. Then we gained with romanticism individuality. And this was the phase that you say to me, it was a part of historical society development that was all the time important into the dialogues. But to me, it was exactly the moment in which they gave dignity to themselves, no matter the features, taking away the features completely. And this was, I am an artist. Why? Because I say I'm an artist. So it has been very important. For some things, it has been a great point of revolution and development. At the same time, sometimes it was, no, you're not doing art because it's just your personal individual there. But it was a phase in which we were going. I think that it was an historical epoch in which the political side was the more evident. But to me, the musical, the martial was something that they've done into the 16th century. They did something of that kind. But I mean, perhaps I'm just too focused me and into my focus. I'm biased. And it's an opening because you have another kind of focus and perspective that is much more interesting because we are there to see different perspectives. Not yet. I'm not that's all that I do that yet. Pretty lucky. Thank you very much, Julia. It was very great pleasure, very happy, and very curious to hear you. Absolutely. And I'm sure that you're curious too, and I will hear.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I will be very happy to perform for our audience. So looking forward to that.
Yeah. Thank you for this other episode, and see you for the next. Thank you for being here. Have a nice day, everybody. It feels alright, but never complete. We don't die. I take you. If it's already been done, that's the way. It takes two. It's up to me and you to prove it. On a rainy night, in the coldest days, moments of hope, with seconds of rain, your face is 'cause of you. Winter beats my heart, summer blossom forms. It's a favorite. My love is gone. Never feel again. 'Cause of you are not an enemy anymore. There's a ray of light upon your face now. I can look into your eyes, and I never thought it could be so simple. You can hear the music with no songs. You can hear my heart without me knowing. I can cry in front of you, 'cause you're not afraid to face my weakness. I will wake up, some morning rain will wash away our pain. I will wake up, some morning rain will wash away our pain. 'Cause it never began for us, it'll never end for us. 'Cause it never began for us, it'll never end for us. You are not my enemy anymore. There's a ray of light on your face now. It will hold you again. There is so